Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy Boulanger, and up next on the GM, Ravens versus Rams, keys to victory. Do me a quick favor, hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. Ravens versus Rams, Sunday Night Football, Week 14. I believe this to be a big time matchup with a lot of implications on the line. We're going to have star power, big time offensive players, big time defensive players, and we're also going to have playoff seeding um, going in the favor of whoever takes this game. If the Rams win, they should move up into the top seven playoff seeding in the NFC. And if the Ravens win, they maintain tied with the Miami Dolphins in the AFC and put a stranglehold on the AFC North. But let's get down to the teams. Let's start with the competition. The Los Angeles Rams come into this game off of a victory against the Cleveland Browns, where they pulled away late in that game, but for the most part, that game was super close. The Rams have been up and down all season long, both offensively and defensively, but this may be a game where all the all the stars come out to play. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and the likes. I think the Rams are going to bring a really solid defensive front to the table, but I think from their linebackers back, there is some questions and there is some opportunity for the Baltimore Ravens to exploit those vulnerable areas. But the Rams bring a solid offense. They bring um, a mid-level run game, and they bring a top-notch wide receiver in Cooper Kupp, who typically takes two men to cover, and oftentimes two men can't do the job. So, do the Rams have a chance in this game? I don't really think so. If the Baltimore Ravens come and do what they need to do on Sunday Night Football, we should walk out of this game with a 7 to 10 point victory. I say 7 to 10 points, meaning the Rams try and score late in this game, but it'll be too little too late. And I know you may be asking, now, Boulanger, you've been hard on the Ravens this year, so how can you have such confidence? Well, here's why. The Baltimore Ravens are coming into this game really only playing one game in a month, and they're going to be mostly healthy. I know that Lamar Jackson missed some practice time late in this week due to illness, but he should be ready to go by tomorrow night. And even if he's not ready, I think Tyler Huntley can still deliver a 7 to 10 point win. So let's hit a few keys to victory for the defense. Key number one, run and hit. Simple as that. That's a phrase I got from Roquan Smith when he first did his initial interview when the Baltimore Ravens traded for him last year. And I think that I have not seen that from the Baltimore Ravens linebacker group over the last 2 weeks. That free flowing, downhill, sideline to sideline, smash mouth type of football. In fact, what we actually have seen is a lot of missed tackles, a lot of making contact with receivers, tight ends, running backs, and those guys getting loose for some extra yards. And I think maybe that was just because the defense was, tired. They were on the field a whole lot. They were having to pick up things for the offense. And so I think having basically one game in over a month will allow them to come out and play that smash mouth downhill football. So I think that's key number one. Bring the joy back to the game. Key number two for the defense, infiltrate the backfield, whether that's by the blitz or whether that's our interior down linemen get into the backfield. I think making Matthew Stafford uncomfortable is a way to get him to give up a couple of interceptions for sure. You've seen Matthew Stafford when he's comfortable in that pocket, he can deliver the ball anywhere, even at a 35 plus age. But I think when you get that pressure up front and make him do what he doesn't want to do, which is move out of the pocket, I think you can get him frustrated and be able to get a couple of turnovers. Now, when I say make him move out of the pocket, that doesn't mean he can't, because he has some good mobility in his legs, but he would rather stand in the pocket and deliver strikes. So I think that that's key number two, is to infiltrate the backfield, whether interior linemen, pass rushers, or the blitz. And key number three, show Matthew Stafford some different coverages so that we can pick off a couple of passes. I think Matthew Stafford has the potential to give up 2 interceptions tomorrow night. And so I think that if we could get those 2 interceptions, give our offense the short side of the field, I think that bodes well for the Baltimore Ravens as a whole. Let's jump to the offense side of things. Key number one for the offense: no dumb stuff. Okay. We've played a couple of weeks of mostly clean football. Still see some silly stuff, big time run, big time catch gets called back, 10 yards for hold and stuff like that. I think that if the play is already gone, let your guy uh, go on about his business. Now hold blocks when you need to hold blocks, but if the play is already off, just let your guy go. Right? There's no point in holding on, throwing guys to the ground, getting called for holding penalties, that kind of thing. Because I think that if we don't derail our own offense with silly, dumb stuff, I think we have the potential to be explosive tomorrow night. So, no dumb stuff, meaning offsides, holding penalties, drop balls, fumbles, those kind of things shoot ourselves in the foot and make a game much harder than it needs to be. Key number two: we need to rush for more than 150 yards in a combination, whether that's Lamar, Gus, Justice, Keaton, whoever it is. We need to hit that 150-yard mark. That means we kept that Rams offense off of the field, but it also means we kept the Rams defense on the field. I think that rushing for 150 yards um, will help us set the pass game up. I'm not 100% sure what the Rams pass defense looks like. I haven't paid a lot of attention to them this year, but there's nothing that makes me believe that we shouldn't be able to bring a balanced attack offensively to tomorrow night's game. And let me even be more specific with running the ball. Let's run the ball right at Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is the type of player who will track down a play when you purposely try to avoid him. I've seen multiple games where running at Aaron Donald was more effective than trying to avoid him. Now, I'm not saying be silly. Okay, I'm not saying be silly and run at him every single play, but don't purposely try to avoid him. And if you get him into play, right, it allows him to have to take on competition versus working himself down the line, taking on minimum contact, infiltrating the backfield, those kind of things. And so that's key number two. Key number three, okay, get Isaiah Likely the ball. Now I know most of the time you think get your best wide receiver the ball, Zay, Odell, those kind of things, those kind of guys. But I'm saying specifically Isaiah Likely. Here's why. If we get Isaiah Likely the ball early and often, I'm saying to the tune of 6 to 8 catches, that's going to open things up for the other guys on the field. Isaiah Likely has the speed and athleticism to be uncoverable. Not uncoverable like AJ Flowers, who is crazy elusive, but uncoverable because he just looks faster than linebackers and safeties who are trying to guard him, and he's definitely bigger than linebackers and safeties. So I think Isaiah Likely can be a key to victory tomorrow night. And a bonus is going to be take advantage of the home crowd. The Baltimore Ravens has been one of them teams that doesn't really take advantage of the home crowd. I've seen multiple games where the home crowd is roaring and loud early on, but when the offense gets stuck in the mud, that crowd goes to sleep. I don't mean they're not roaring, but when I say sleep, they're kind of calm, they're kind of tamed. Not because the other team is really dominating, it's just because we're stuck in the mud and there's nothing to cheer about. And taking advantage of that of that home crowd allows a higher level of energy to run through the building. It allows and creates an opportunity for adrenaline to keep flowing at a high level, and it causes guys to play at another level. So I think taking advantage of the home crowd is going to be key in tomorrow night's victory. Let me give you my score prediction. I think the Baltimore Ravens put up 28 points. and win 28-17. Yes, I know that that is a big score, but remember, I did the video. This is an NFC team, and we dominate NFC teams no matter who they've been. And I don't think that stops tomorrow night. I think we dominate them 28-17, and we're able to pull our starters around the 8-minute mark in that fourth quarter, as long as we hit all the metrics that I discussed. So listen, I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM. Let me know what you want me to know, any keys to victory you guys have, and I'll holler at you tomorrow night after the ball game.